So, for today's diary entry, I have decided I'm just going to watch a TED Talk. I'm just trying to build at the moment on my Harvard referencing, and once again, I've always said for me, visual stuff have always kind of been the thing that kind of engages with me and engages my mind. So kind of before I start reading all these different books that I'm really not wanting to read, I'm just gonna watch documentaries, watch podcasts, watch YouTube videos, watch things that visually can stimulate more ideas for me. So for today, I was watching a TED Talk. I think the girl's name was Maria Allen. And she's a specialist. She's one of those boss bays. When it comes to talking about porn. And I think it was literally titled "Let's Talk Porn," and I just thought, okay, yeah, let's talk it, because the reality is not enough people are talking about it or have spoken about it. And I think one question that she finished rounding it up with, which I had to write down, I've got my notepad here, got all the notes that I've written. She said, "How are we going to talk about porn?" And I just thought, Zainab, okay, cool, how are we actually going to speak about porn in my work? And this is the reason why I love kind of getting the facts down, getting kind of what people think, experiences. And she kind of spoke about a few things that was she really hit it on the nail. And she kind of spoke also a bit about the journey of porn. So since I can't speak. Since the 70s, porn has been increasingly more aggressive. And so I was this word aggressive, she kept using. And I think I had to now also deep the word, aggressive. What are the attitudes that we shape by watching porn? Being aggressive is definitely one of them. And she made this point of how porn actually does stimulate these attitudes of aggression. And she mentioned a lot of people who have done studies, who have gone to some top universities, all right? So, them Cambridge, Harvard ones, okay? And they speak about all these studies that they've done on porn. And one key thing that really shocked me, and I was like, wow. She said, so one of the studies was that with porn, because of its journey in society, so from the 70s, it started to increase in aggression. So, not to TMI, but TMI. Choking, ATM, double penetration, gagging, all those things that we now make fun of and having memes and speak about, oh my god, do this to me and do that to me. These are all a category of aggressive stuff when you deep it. And these are things that feature in all these porn videos. And it's become so normalized. I know a lot of girls who are if my man doesn't choke me, I don't want it. And I'm damn, that's a bit aggressive. I'm not trying to die out here. Do you know what I mean? Is that really pleasurable? Is that really pleasurable? I didn't even know what ATM means. I'm not going to speak about it in this video because I think it's too much, personally. I'm not trying to make the two as literally sanction me for the inappropriateness, but learn what that ATM stands for, and I thought, okay, wow. I literally can't talk. And so I think a lot right now is going through my mind, because I'm just thinking, cool, she even speaks about how she mentioned this guy that she spoke to about porn, who obviously I think he consumed porn, and he said that he used to question why his girlfriend would never moan or scream really, you know how them girls be doing it in porn, they'll just be doing a whole musical theatre production, I don't even know. And he was confused why she doesn't do that. And then he asked her, he said, in fact, he was oh, I just got this thought, I might just strangle her while doing it, and this will probably make her enjoy it more. And I thought, wow, this is actually, porn is killing our people. Porn is killing our people, because the fact that you think to make me feel more pleasurable, you should come and strangle me. No, no, sir, no. It's actually a serious matter. And she said it, and everyone just was so silent in the room. Was I say strangling me was gonna make me think, yeah, sure, come over here, like, or I'm gonna start. I mean, she might start screaming for dear life, but I don't think because it's pleasurable, she might have to call the police. Literally, like, I just thought that was crazy. Look at me. Also, she, in fact, when she started it, she spoke about how, she spoke to this victim of porn. His name was Alex. His name is Alex. And this quote that I kind of took down, and he said, to me, porn is a drug. And that's the thing, like, do we, and I guess obviously there's two sides to perspectives of porn. I mean, there might be a few. But do we think that porn is a drug? And can we compare porn and consuming porn regularly as an addiction to how it is to taking a drug continuously? Because if you literally cannot live without it, and that's the thing, study shows, I've spoken to my friends and I plan to hopefully like do some interviews and also speak more of my own story. But for me, like, porn has been something that when I have consumed it, it has been to kind of make me release, like, to release stress and to kind of distract me from the way I'm actually feeling. And I think that's what a lot of young people and just people in general use porn for. And that's the same way that we use smoking, drugs, all those different things for as well. So can we not compare porn to an addiction to porn to having an addiction to drugs? Because I don't know anyone that's gone to rehab for porn. As in, like, there's not like a whole like center that says for porn. I mean, there might be. I need to do that research, but I don't know nothing about that. I don't. And so that's very interesting. Also, I think just from finishing watching the video, it's something now that, and she speaks about it a lot, and I kind of want to definitely like look more into Maria Alin. I'll look more into kind of her work because she speaks a lot about porn and kind of just like starting that conversation. And she gave this like really cool example that her, like, I think one of her friends kind of spoke about, and he's a parent, and it's like, I think it's so important to talk about things like this with your parents. It was something that I never growing up spoke about with my mom, and that probably it's probably formed because of where I'm from, my culture. You don't really speak about sex with your parents. You don't speak about porn. You don't speak about the exposure to that. And I think more recently I've been trying to do that with my mom. Like, I've been trying to get her to talk to my younger siblings about it because, honey, she's probably seen something. Like, my 13-year-old sister probably has seen something at this point. I would be very surprised if she hasn't. Like, because literally, like, an average, the age is 11. It's actually 11 to have watched porn by or to have been exposed to it. So I feel like it's very important that we start having those conversations with our children. And this guy gave this like example of how the best time to talk about something like porn is while driving your car. First of all, because you don't have to look at your child directly because you're facing the road, and the child can't escape because you're driving. So I think that's really cool. Like, I think it's finding ways now to kind of communicate these things. And that's what I want to do through this project. Like, I want to find a way to kind of start discussion. I'm not saying I want people to watch. I'm not saying look at my work, look at my research, and like never watch porn again. But what I'm saying is, can we start having this conversation? And is it a thing where, like, do you feel like you have a problem with it? Do you feel like you know someone that potentially has an addiction to porn? And what can we do to help start this conversation of it's normal to have had an addiction? Let's make that quite straight. Like, make that quite straight, because people kind of come to this conclusion like, I'm weird if I've had an addiction. No, but like, it can happen. Like, you can come across that, and it's like, okay, what are we then going to do to start the discussion of how, like, the negatives of watching porn? Because even this like shocking statistic is that a lot of sex offenders, a lot of people who commit sexual assault have had a history of watching porn and having consumed it, and now become demonetized and become like less sensitive to sexual aggression. Like, that is crazy to think. Maybe if in an ideal world, porn was cancelled and it was something that was restricted from people to watch, would that then help with our statistic of people who are committing sexual assaults, people who are who now have this addiction to sex? Would this help with marriages? Would this help with relationships? I think it's something that we really need to start thinking about, because for me, I think the reason why it's something recently that I have had to come to the confession with is because I want to break generational curses for myself, and I don't want to bring a negative a soul tie into my future with someone who isn't worthy of me in that way. And not even just with that, but I don't also want to have this soul tie to porn. I don't want to feel this connection. I don't want to feel this addiction to porn. And that's something that I don't want for people around me. And I don't want for the whole world, really and truly. That was a good speech, but yeah. So yeah, now I kind of want to open the floor more to what I can do in terms of starting this conversation. I think I'm going to definitely use social media this week, create some polls on Instagram, see what my friends are saying, and go from there.